The first time I met Coach Johnson, his vibe, his aura, and just being in his presence is something that you really can't explain. He just wanted to know who I was, where I came from, and just the elements of BB.
He just opened up. He just told me about his life, his family, his dad, his mom, and his brother, what drives him. I'm sitting in the locker room, almost tears in my eyes, like, wow, this kid is real. I don't care if you play football, I want to coach you.
My dad, he always pushed us to be the best us. No matter what you do, put your all into it. Because if you're not gonna put your heart, your soul into it, then it degrades the value of it. He was my everything. The day that he died, I'd never forget. It was December 19th, 2006.
30-year-old Robert Landers, also known as Bobby Carr, was hit in a shower of bullets. He died at the scene just feet from his SUV.
A person with an assault rifle opened fire. My father tried to take off running, and they shot him a couple times in his back. Went up to him, shot him in his head, and that was that. To this day, they don't know who did it. It's an unsolved case. For a couple hours, it broke me. At 10 years old, I don't know how my brain even processed this, but I realized you gotta step up. You gotta be the man in the house. You have to be the person that your brothers look up to. You have to put your little feet in these big shoes that your dad left. How are we gonna do that? I have no idea, but if you don't do it, nobody else will.
BB carries a lot of stuff on his shoulders, in his heart. And sometimes you have to go in and dissect that and get it out from him. Because he thinks he can take care of everything by himself. He doesn't ask for help for anything. And I tell him all the time, you can't do that in life. Somebody's got to lift you up and help you out. But he thinks he can handle it by himself. And then all of a sudden it becomes overwhelming for him. And then you can see the stress on his face. And that's when you get to him.
My way of covering up what I was going through was being there for everybody else. Being an outgoing guy, me dyeing my hair, and me wearing cowboy hats, sparkly shoes, like, those are things that I like to do. It's fun, it's funny, it's silly, and I'll make it look a little good. Like, I could pull it off, so I'm like, you know what, why not? But that aspect of myself, it was a defense mechanism. And I'll never forget it. Coach Meyer and Ryan Stamper put together this program called Real Life Wednesdays.
Look, I used to think that mental health was mental toughness. You know, that's what we were taught as kids, especially as men. You never show weakness, suck it up, play through it, live through it.
This particular session that we had a guy come in by the name of Dr. Greenfield. He specializes in anxiety, depression. We had this exercise that we did, and he asked different questions. The first question was, how many of you guys are constantly stressed? The guy stood up. All right, sit down. Next question was, how many of you guys suffer from anxiety and depression? And I had to sit up and think, like, okay, what exactly does that mean? Like, what is anxiety and depression classify as? And then he went on to ask other personal questions, and I realized, like, I'm standing up for every question.
BB does a really good job of holding it all in, so you don't get to see the inner soul. And that particular day when he let it out, there's tears run out of everybody out in the place, because you would think that would be the last person that will be in that position, because he walks so happy.
I give BB a lot of credit for being courageous enough to put himself out there to say that there's been times in his life where he hasn't been as strong mentally as he'd like to be. He's not the only one. There's a lot of guys that go through that, but the stigma that's attached to asking for help sometimes is weakness. But BB's, as big and strong as you could possibly imagine, but he needed help.
The more information I got about it, how I was and what I was going through, what I was struggling with, and how it all came back to anxiety and depression, and how it all started from when my dad passed away. At the time, I viewed it as, you gotta be solid for your brothers and for your mom, so just suck it up. you got to be stable for them. If you break down and you shatter, everything else is going to shatter with it. I realized that I was one of those guys that everything that I was dealing with, a lot of people would say they pin it, like just kind of pin it down and put it in the back of their mind. I just tried to bury it. And eventually that graveyard ran out of space. Real Life Wednesdays made me come out of this egg that I was in and made me less naive and ignorant to what is going on. With anxiety and depression, it's a roller coaster, but it's an ongoing battle. One thing that really helps me is my kids.
Daddy duty?
Daddy daughter Monday, you know that.
Big guy.
See, she like car rides, so like if she's up at night and want to get fussy,
Hey, girl.
we just get in the car, go for a ride for about 30 minutes, she's out.
I used to go like this to try to make her fall asleep. Shake, shake, shake.
See, she enjoyed it too much. She'll get to laughing and now she won't play, so.
Hey, girl.
I have 2 kids, my son, Dakota, and then my daughter, she's 5 months, her name's Jordan.
You like your father.
I know I'm cute, ain't I? Shut up.
You all right.
Shut up.
Now, she's beautiful. I mean, and her hair is definitely not yours.
Hold on, bro.
That's
I got
a
good hair,
fact.
don't get it twisted.
Now that's a fact.
My hair better than yours. Yeah. I'm about to make you my child, you keep playing. We got what's called Daddy-Daughter Mondays. We'll go in and watch film and she'll sit right on my lap and she's just glued into the TV. There's no sound, but since there's movement, she'll just sit there. I get into my tranquil state when I'm with them. I try to do as much as I can just to let them know I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, and I try to utilize the skill sets of being a father that my dad gave to me before he passed away, and then add my own little me to it.
I think now he's all in. When I mean all in, he's reached all as far as he can reach and say, Coach, I believe you, and I trust you. And if anything happens, you're exactly right. I have to get off my plate. So now he would text me. He said, Coach, you got a few minutes? Give me talk. I'm good. Come on in.
I'm an advocate for anxiety and depression. I play football at Ohio State, but I still struggle.
I think that's the uniqueness of BB, that he's not afraid to stand on the platform and tell his story and hope it changes someone else.
You don't have to do it alone. Like, they say it takes a village to raise kids. It takes a village to get through this struggle. And if you try to do it by yourself, you will lose. It's always somebody out there that will help you.